Victor, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Sally.
I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about you and who are FeatureMind and what the core was for the creation of the business.
Sure. So my name is Victor Khayat. Half Lebanese, half French, very exotic.
Very exotic.
Very exotic indeed. So I've been in Dubai. I've been living in Dubai for the last 2 years now.
Yep.
I come from a very digital background, a technology background, and a commercial background. I would say over 10 years of commercial roles in the past. Now launching myself in the system integration world. This is where we delve into FeatureMind as well.
Yeah.
So I lead the commercial teams at FeatureMind here in the GCC throughout this global expansion plan that we have. So FeatureMind as a business is actually a system integrator / consultant specifically for retailers.
Okay.
So what we do is we offer a blend of technological expertise plus the execution to lead to put it very simply, to lead our customers from point A to point B.
To put online, omni-channel.
Omnichannel is one thing, is one part of it, definitely. We try to tailor the execution based on the digital roadmap that the customer, that the account has, the brand has over the years. And we try to build these partnerships over the next 5, 10, 15 years so that we can see the growth coming out of it. So basically, a few examples are maybe retailers want to start having an e-com channel, for example. We start building the e-com channel and then all the technology around it.
Yes.
Because 10 years ago, e-commerce was a buzz idea. How are we going to make more sales? How are we going to make more money online? But now it's just a huge world out of it.
Yeah.
And a huge world was created out of it because, especially post-COVID, where customers became extremely more demanding in how service has to be.
Yeah.
And it's not only about a product, it's how you deliver the service and how much data you can actually capture. So we make sure that customers are in control of this technological future of theirs by leading them from point A to point B.
Perfect. And you mentioned retailers. Are there any particular sectors of retail that you focus more on than others?
Our focus is very driven into retail because our teams in the past have worked for the likes of Altair, Shalhoub, and the big brands here in the region.
Yes.
This is why our expertise is actually nurtured from there. But we do have a lot of offerings that we work on when it comes to hospitality as well, because we are very aware that hospitality is going to be a big thing in the GCC, specifically in Riyadh and KSA and the whole Saudi Arabian landscape.
Yeah.
With all the big projects coming, Expo 2030, the World Cup, hospitality, and TTH is going to be a very big sector for us. We're exploring now offerings and how we can actually support in that sector. But for now, the retail expertise, I would say 95% of our customers are retailers.
Okay, fantastic. And are there any kind of core values or principles that drive FeatureMind's approach as a business?
The approach is mainly based on the customer centricity. So what we do is we put the customer in the center of everything we do. So
as it should be.
As it should be, exactly. What we try to do is we try to understand and discover a bit more the customer.
Yeah.
We want to try to understand the ambition behind their projects.
Yeah.
And we try to offer them the best possible plan that they need to be on today.
Yeah.
And this starts from a deep discovery session.
Yeah.
It comes from a series of workshops, and it also comes from the way we propose the execution as well.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure on a very long-term communication process with the customer, we try to make sure that the customer is actually really, really well placed to actually launch the project.
Yeah.
And we do not really accept to do work that is halfway through.
Yes.
We don't really like to,
you like to start
be associated
from the beginning, basically, with them, with the journey. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we don't like to be associated with projects where we know that it's not going to make the customer a good return, a good ROI, or it's not going to make our reputation good in the market.
Yeah.
So we try to dissociate from these projects.
Yes.
But this is actually our approach. The customer centricity would be, and it links to integrity as well in how we deliver.
Yeah. And obviously you're in the Middle East. Do you have presence out of the Middle East, or is it mainly focused core in the Middle East?
The big presence is in the Middle East. So we do have a presence in Europe as well. So we are growing the presence in Europe. In the next few years, in the next 3-5 years, we're looking at not only building more offerings in more sectors, but we're also looking at being on the global market as well.
Okay.
We already are there because we do have customers in the UK.
Yes.
We do have a customer in the UK today. So we are trying to build on this customer to build a larger portfolio in the UK and Holland and France and Switzerland. So some countries in Europe.
Yeah.
And the sky is the limit. Why not even being sometimes in Australia, in the US, and Canada.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of your growth plans for the future for FeatureMind, is to obviously go more globally.
It's an ambition. Yeah, it's an ambition. It's an ambition. But the work in the last 5 years, I would say, was very tailored and suited for the Middle East. So what we're trying to do is to build this culture in parallel for the global market.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So in terms of those customer segments, do you see that you would go into any further sectors at all in terms of your scaling of your customers, or are you just going to stay core with the retailers?
That's a very interesting question, Sally, and this is something we have been discussing internally.
Yeah.
Because we do have a very large partnership ecosystem, so the likes of not only e-commerce platforms, not only marketing platforms, but we do have a lot of partnerships with, for example, payment gateways that are not just tailored for retail, but also for financial services, for banking systems, so banking platforms. So what we do is that we work with this and we leverage this partnership ecosystem to actually build an offering around, for example, FSI. Why not also considering telco, for example, telecommunication companies, and hospitality. So yes, we do have an ambition to move forward with different sectors because we know that retail, as exciting as it is, at some point, as FeatureMind, there may be some kind of saturation working with retailers. So we do need to think about...
So you need to think about that next kind of sector that you might want to enter. Perfect.
Exactly.
And in terms of technical advancements, obviously everything you do is around obviously those technical advancements. What innovations are you focusing on to stay competitive and to meet those client needs?
The technology advancement is pretty much something that every SI does. So from a system integration perspective, I think that technology advancement is pretty much the same. What we do is pretty similar to an execution of another SI, but I would say what differentiates us is actually the approach on something that we call free the data.
Yeah.
So free the data has been something we talked about offline together.
We did. I do love the phrase free the data.
And everything's so data driven, it has a nice tone to it as well.
It's got a great tone to it. It's got a great tone. Yeah.
So the concept behind free the data is actually a very big enigma, because what we think about free the data is, we know that today, and specifically in the UAE, and I want to be specific to the United Arab Emirates, is that we have seen too many businesses invest in technology. And the thing is, what lacks and the gaps that we're seeing in the market actually is, it's not how much you can pay on technology, how much you can invest, but we have heard so many times that businesses have challenges leveraging to get to the metrics and the ROIs that they have from within the technology they have. So our point of differentiation here is actually guide the customers by telling them how we can actually help you leverage an ROI with your existing investment without paying more on technology. Because we've seen so many businesses think that buying more tech is actually a solution, while 99% of the time it's not. So our enigma is free the data, how we can actually free the data within this technology so that every single platform is actually doing what it's built to do. Because we've seen today, and I don't want to be very technical for our audience here, but we have seen a lot of, for example, e-commerce platforms being used as CRM and ERPs. We have seen a lot of marketing or customer data platforms being used as CRMs. But while, yes, there is some leverage where you can do that, but the platform that you invested in is actually not built to do this. So our question is, that's how we're going to help you. And that's the enigma of free the data, is how we're going to help you free this data within the technology so you can actually have a unifying flow where you can actually be able to focus on innovating your products, innovating your services as a retailer, instead of just doing manual work and organizing your own data after all the big investments that you put.
Makes perfect sense to me. And in terms of challenges, because obviously every business meets challenges with this, what are there any specific challenges that you think you're addressing with these advancements? And how do you best help deliver better results for your clients in particular?
That's an interesting question. And I will tell you from our experiences in the last few years here in the market, specifically in the GCC, what we have seen. What we have seen is a lot of ambition in building technology, the omni-channel proposition, the multi-channel proposition, the in-store proposition. And we've seen a lot of ambition to keep up with new trends. For example, AI is a buzz today.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
So you've been at GITEX, Sally, so you've seen how AI has been a buzz.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It really was.
It's even in our sleep. So
yeah.
We're being haunted.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is actually keep customers at bay.
Yes.
In the safe zone of saying, hold on, it's interesting, but maybe not for today.
Yeah.
Because businesses want to do everything at the same time. And it's just not really realistic, right? So what we try to do, and the challenge that we try to solve here, is to actually educate these businesses on, okay, AI is great, for example, but when in the roadmap it should come.
Yeah. I think it's a buzzword and everybody just wants to jump on it now.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
You're right. It's actually hitting it at that right point that is right for their business, and not just use it because it's the thing that's out there at the moment.
Exactly. And I've said that as well. And I have a quote, and I have a personal trademark quote that I came with as well. I came with a quote once, and it says, AI is the tool, data is the fuel. So
I love these buzzwords, Victor.
well, it comes from experience. I would say I cannot take full credit of it. I had good mentors in the past that really helped me see through the slide. But I cannot take full credit for it. But so the inspiration from AI is the tool, data is the fuel, is actually saying to these retailers, if you want to jump into AI, make sure you have the fuel.
Yeah.
Because today you have the Ferrari, but you don't have the oil.
Yeah.
So you need the oil, and then you get the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to win the race by having a car in the pit stop.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the challenge we try to address here.
Yeah, okay. And in terms of your medium-term plans for FeatureMind, how are you preparing? You've obviously talked about these ambitious growth levels. Where does that look in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, so we have multiple ambition right now. So the primary ambition is actually to grow the company. We are today from all regions. We stand today at 80 plus employees.
Yeah.
The ambition moving forward is that by the end of 2025, we're looking at becoming at least 125.
Okay.
Globally. So you're pretty much looking at a 50 to 60% growth year over year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, we're counting
very
that.
Impressive. Yeah.
And this is going to come from the commercial activities we do. So that's why we're very ambitious also from a commercial standpoint. We're looking at triple the revenue that we have as well. So times 3 is actually the minimum we're looking at. Not to be a bit revenue savvy, but it's going to come from the way we try to help our customers as well. And of course, the global expansion plan is also the biggest umbrella of ambition that we have.
Yeah.
Starting more activities in Europe on the global scale, launching more propositions and offerings for FSI, TTH, hospitality.
Yeah, going into those new sectors, basically, not just sticking with the retail, actually expanding it. That's kind of your overall strategies and growth strategies for your business.
And we do have also one last piece of ambition when it comes to the technology partnership ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's actually adding 3 or 4 more partners.
Yeah.
It's part of the variety that we want to create for 2025. Because we are a technology agnostic consultant.
Yeah.
So we do work with many different technologies. But we do feel that today there are some gaps that we have in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
We think that adding 3 or 4 would make a lot of sense to us, where we can actually be complete end to end in the proposition for our customers.
Yeah.
This is also another ambition that we have.
You've got a lot of ambitious growth there. So how would you say you differentiate yourself from those competitors that are in the market? How does FeatureMind differentiate itself?
The biggest differentiator we have in the market is the way we approach the technologies. So we've seen a lot of partner specifically in our ecosystem that only drives an agenda behind one vendor.
Yeah.
No, you should have this vendor. No, you should have this vendor. We are way more agnostic than this. So basically what we do is that we don't mind the technology that you work with as long as it's providing you the results. So the technology that you have is probably great. Maybe it's time to see how we can leverage it. But we do not come and feed a specific vendor to a retailer or a customer.
Yeah.
Right. So, for example, we're working with customers today who have been doing a lot of investments on the likes of the platforms of Adobe and Salesforce and BI and Microsoft.
Yeah.
And we are trying to help these customers to actually leverage an ROI from it instead of telling them, no, you should be using this platform and this platform and this platform. Right. So we do understand that technology overhaul and spending sometimes doesn't really make any sense after all the investment that is made. And we know that by taking the customer by the hand and leading them to this mountaintop with what they already have, with the ammunition they already have, creates more credibility. And credibility is everything in the GCC.
Yes, yeah, of course. Victor, thank you so much for your time today. It's been absolutely fascinating to hear about FeatureMind.
Thank you so much, Sally. I appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.
Definitely. For more information about FeatureMind's products and services, you can visit the website, featuremind.com. I'm the Middle East marketer. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Desert Dialogues, and be sure to follow us on LinkedIn.